Zechariah's prophecies took place during the period after the Babylonian exile, around 520 BCE, when the Jewish people returned to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple under the leadership of Ezra and Nehemiah, but touch key moments around Jewish history: 1948, 1967, and October 7, 2023. The prophecy of the word of the Lord concerning Israel. Says the Lord, who stretches out the heavens and founds the earth and forms the spirit of man within him. Behold, I am making Jerusalem a cup of weakness for all the peoples around, and also on Judah, that he shall be in the siege against Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass on that day that I will make Jerusalem a stone of burden for all peoples. All who bear it shall be gashed, and all the nations of the earth shall gather about it. On that day, says the Lord, I will smite every horse with bewilderment, and its rider with madness. And upon the house of Judah I will open my eyes, and all the horses of the peoples I will smite with blindness. And the princes of Judah shall say to themselves, the inhabitants of Jerusalem were my strength through the Lord of hosts, their God. On that day I will make the princes of Judah as a fiery stove among wood, and as a brand of fire among sheaves. And they shall consume on the right and on the left all the nations round about, and Jerusalem shall still stay in its place in Jerusalem. And the Lord shall first save the tents of Judah, so that the boasting of the house of King David and the boasting of the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall not increase over Judah. On that day the Lord shall protect the inhabitants of Jerusalem through a powerful sword and shield, and the weakest of them shall be on that day like King David. And the house of David shall be like angels, like the angel of the Lord before them. And it shall come to pass on that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come upon Jerusalem. And I will pour out upon the house of King David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplications. And they shall look to me because of those who have been thrust through, clang, clang. And they shall mourn over it as one mourns over an only son, and shall be in bitterness therefore, as one is embittered over a firstborn son. On that day there shall be great mourning in Jerusalem, like the mourning of Hadadrimmon in the valley of Megiddon. And the land shall mourn every family apart, the family of the house of King David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of the Shimeates apart, and their wives apart. All the remaining families, every family apart, and their wives apart. Each family will mourn apart from each other through Teshuvah. On that day a spring shall be opened for the house of King David, and for the inhabitants of Jerusalem, for purification and for sprinkling. And it shall come to pass on that day, says the Lord of hosts, I will cut off the names of the idols from the earth, and they shall no longer be mentioned. And also the false prophets and the spirit of contamination God will remove from the face of the earth. May the true Messiah come quickly in our times. This video was produced by ben-Emmett with the Torah Watchman Show International LLC.